Hey guys, just a quick message before we start today's episode. On behalf of Lanceroy and Retro Reloaded, we want to give a huge thank you to the incredible Patreon supporters who help keep the show alive and growing. A special shout out to our 64-bit legend, Zero, for your continued top-tier support. Thank you as well to our 16-bit adventurers, Tetra Folly, Marcus Q, and Sankar. And to our 8-bit explorers, Big Nick Dika, Werecoon Warden, yours truly, Wabiert, and Gaming Quarterly. Your support means the world to us, and especially Lance, and it's because of you that Retro Reloaded can continue celebrating gaming history, deep dives, and great conversations. We truly couldn't do this without you. And with that said, it's time to press start and jump into today's episode.
Hey there! Welcome to Retro Reloaded. I'm your host Lance, and each week I tackle a retro game shaped by your picks. If you want a chance to choose next week's game or unlock exclusive bonus episodes and polls, join me on Patreon at patreon.com/retroreloaded. There's even a free tier to dip your toes in. Big thanks for all of your love and support. It means the world to me. Now let's hit the start button and reload those retro vibes.
History of Abe's Oddysee. Released in 1997 for the PlayStation, Abe's Oddysee was developed by Oddworld inhabitants and directed by Lorne Lanning. At a time when most platformers leaned toward bright mascots and power fantasies, Abe's Oddysee went in the opposite direction, offering a bleak industrial world built around themes of corporate greed, exploitation, and environmental collapse. The game stood out immediately thanks to its cinematic presentation, pre-rendered backgrounds, and an unusual focus on puzzle solving and stealth over action. Death was frequent, progress was deliberate, and the game expected players to fail, observe, and learn. Unlike many of its contemporaries, Abe's Oddysee wasn't afraid to make players uncomfortable. Commercially, the game performed well enough to establish Oddworld as a recognizable franchise, spawning sequels and remakes, but its true legacy lies in its cult status. It became known as one of the PlayStation's most artistically ambitious and emotionally strange titles, one that treated players less like heroes and more like survivors.
All right, with all that out of the way, first, I just want to thank the voice actors for doing the intro to this episode for Abe's Oddysee. I want to thank Rob Patrick, aka PCR. He did the narration for the Abe's Oddysee episode. You can find him on Instagram.com/somethingcast. That's somethingcast, CAST. Super cool. It's been a lot of fun having the voice actors come on and do some of these voices. It's like really fun to see their talents come through, and some of these people are just really great and really awesome. So it's been really fun, like kind of collaborating with these actors. And so now let's get to our special guest for the day. If you've listened to Retro Reloaded before, you know who it is. If you haven't, it is Tetra Folly. Welcome to the show.
Hi again. We've been
Hi,
here so
welcome
many
back.
times at this point.
Yeah, what is this, like number 5 or something? Or
Unless you count when you mentioned me in the first episode, in the Silent Hill episode, because you were talking about all the puzzles.
Oh yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you kind of had a cameo in that one because you were helping me basically beat the game, especially when I got stuck. And I got stuck pretty often on that one, so that was a pretty hard game. That was fun though. That was a lot of fun.
Yep.
Yeah, so you also submitted this game to the retro roster. Is there any reason why you submitted this game over like any other game you could have done?
One, because at this point I've been known to being giving you hard games to play.
Yes.
At least no one's recommended Dark Souls or anything.
Not yet.
But also I always liked the Oddworld games, and I mentioned actually Abe's Oddysee when I think it was the games that deserve sequels. I said I wanted another Oddworld game.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. So the last Oddworld game was what? Munches or
So
something else?
no, uh there was one that was like a western. It was really weird. Um well, if you want to count actual Oddworld games, that is the last one, but the official one is actually the 2021 remake of the second game.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I see here it says sequels was Abe's Exodus
Yep.
and then Munch's Odyssey and
Yep.
then a remake of Oddworld New and Tasty, which is I guess the
Yeah.
remake of this
Because
game.
it's the remake of the first one. And it's called New and Tasty partially because that's like what the little sign at the beginning of the game first pops up when Abe's finding things out that are not great. But
Yes. Yeah, New and Tasty basically is the name of the new marketed item, right? That they're
yep.
selling the new product.
Yep.
And spoiler alert, not really spoiler alert because it's the first cutscene in the game. The new product is the Maduckins, which are
Maduckin
basic
Pops.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And this is basically Abe's people. And so do you want to kind of tell us a little bit of the background on the story here? What's going on with Abe and like
S-
why he's being
So
turned into food?
so Abe and the Maduckins are at least from Abe's point of view, he starts off in Rupture Farms, which is a food processing plant run by uh, a, another race of beings called the Gluckins, who tend to go after wealth and power over anything else, and don't care who they have to make go extinct in the process. Um, at the beginning of the game, you're introduced to Abe, and Abe does all the narration throughout the game. All the cutscenes are literally him telling you what's going on as you see the cutscene playing out. And he's like he's one of the Maduckin slaves of the food processing plant.
Yeah.
And he's like the floor cleaner. He's the janitor.
Yeah.
He starts the game as the janitor, and he accidentally stumbles across the Gluckin's boardroom, so to speak, where they are discussing needing to make a new product because the meat pies are they can't do any the meat munchies they can't do anymore because the meats went extinct. And
Yeah.
then the two other races, the scrubs and I can't remember the other one, are becoming very much not as plentiful as they were before.
Aren't they
So
paramites? Is that what is
Paramites,
it?
that what it is,
Yeah.
yeah. And they were the ones used to make two of their other products. And so their new idea, the new and tasty option, is the Maduckin Pops. And Abe, upon seeing that, is like, I got to get out of here. And so he breaks out of basically tries to escape the plant, the factory.
Yes. Yep. And thus starts your adventure as Abe, your protagonist, and you are trying to escape to Rupture Farms, you go into a temple, you do all kinds of different stuff. Do you want to maybe kind of also go over a little bit of the gameplay, like what should players expect when first getting into this game?
So Abe's Odyssey is a platformer. It's a very and it plays out in what's c- typically referred to as like 2.5D, where it's not like completely all 2D, but then at least I think the remakes were considered 2.5 because they're like 3D sprites doing
Yeah.
everything. But it is very much a platformer. It is it's got some puzzles you got to solve in the platforming levels. And then the also main thing is you really, really, really need to explore because in order to get the like true ending of the game, because this game has two endings, you have to basically explore quite a bit to get the necessary requirements.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of little secret, like, I guess, like, areas, I would say, that you use to kind of find your Meducan, friends that were all that were stuck at the farms. And yeah, that's ano so I would say this game is pretty hard, and then it goes the extra step when you're trying to 100% the game, when you're trying to save all of the Meducans. Because certain parts of the game, you don't have to save the Meducans, you can kinda go through, but you're not gonna get that true ending if that's what you want from the game.
Yeah, if you
And
want to
the
just complete the game, just go. Just do
Yeah,
it.
I would almost say, like, the first time around, just complete it. And then, like, maybe your second time around, go for the Meducans because 'cause you'll be more familiar with the controls and and the things that you can do as Abe. Because it's not super clear in the beginning what your character is completely capable of. You're like, "Okay, I can say hello, hello, hello," like the little thing that they
And say,
do.
"Follow me."
"Follow me." "Okay." "Wait." "Okay."
I
Yeah,
do
it's
love the little voice lines from the characters.
me
They're
me too.
hilarious.
That was actually one of my good points for later on is that I like the voice lines for it's so they're like cute little like
It's
I
so
don't even
charming.
it is. Like Abe kind of has this like nasally like I can't even do it. Like he has this like little nasally high pitched voice and the Meducans all have kind of the same thing going on. And you talk to them and you kind of navigate them through the level. Like you're like stay here basically. He's like wait here. Come like follow me. Or and then you fart and you can whistle to them and like whistling actually in some cases like communicates that you need like a password to the other Murducken in some areas, which is very interesting. Um, yeah, so you were kind of describing the graphics a little bit, and I kind of wanted to touch on that because you were saying like 2.5D.
Is what I
Um,
think I know at least that's what the newer ones were classified as. I'm trying to remember if the original was also classified as that.
yeah,
But
and I could see how that could kind of be conceived that way, and I don't think technically it is, but I think it's like what would you call it? It reminds me of Donkey Kong Country.
yeah,
If you've ever played yeah, if you played that, like, it's like they're not sprites in the sense that
they're not
you
like
would like
completely 2D, like an old
yeah,
school Mario
exactly.
game or something. Those are completely 2D. This one, not very much.
They're like, what, 3 models that were taken pictures of or something and then put
It
frames in
seems like
for?
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they use those pictures for frames of the character, that's what it kinda seems like. Um, it works in this game, and it is an interesting art style, I think it's pretty unique. It's most closely related to Donkey Kong, but way darker in coloring, I would say, and more realistic looking than Donkey Kong. Like, Donkey Kong's kinda more of a cartoony vibe, and this is more like a realistic-ish cartoony vibe, but, not super surreal or anything, not like Mortal Kombat sprite characters, not that kind of, realism. But yeah, it's a very interesting art style. Do you like it?
I personally think it's decent, and I actually think it holds up decently well considering it was a PlayStation 1 game.
Yeah. And I that was actually one of my I think my good points is that even though the game isn't like the best graphic game for the PS1, I think it's still got its own uniqueness and it's quite rememberable on how the game looks. Like it's a very unique feel and look to the game. So I think they did a good job of capturing that uniqueness in Abe's Oddysee that they did. It was very interesting. And so yeah, very interesting art style. When did you first play this game?
So, the first I actually didn't first play Abe's Oddysee. Abe's Oddysee came out the year I was born. But,
Wow.
I played, Munches because we had an Xbox. We had the original Xbox, so I actually played the 3rd game in the series, which is Munch's Odyssey.
Which is
And
quite
it was
different, right?
yes, and it wasn't until like, cause Munches, while, like, Abe's Exodus and Abe's Odyssey were both, like, very much in the 2D, like, side scroller esque sorta way, Munches was a fully rendered 3D environment. Um, and I didn't realize until years later that there actually was two games that came before Munches. I did not know that until I was in high school,
Right.
and by that point, the remake was basically coming out,
Okay.
so I was able to
Wow.
see. So I was able to see. So the game popped up a lot more. So I was like, oh, maybe I should actually go out of my way to try to play this one and get the actual story because Abe's story goes through Odyssey, Exodus, and then into Munch's Odyssey.
Yeah.
So it goes through all three games. And so I was like, I played the third one, so I basically caught like towards the end of Abe's story.
Interesting. Yeah, I didn't know they were linear like that. I wasn't sure. Okay.
Yeah, no, because Abe's Exodus, I think, takes place not long after the original game. And then Munch's, you're introduced to Munch. And then you come across Abe later
Okay.
and work with
How
him.
did that because I know how this platformer kind of worked out in 2D. How did it feel like in 3D? Was it a completely
Well,
different
it
experience?
it was it's definitely a different experience because the 2D like side scroller was basically completely gone. Um, and ironically, that's what some people didn't like about Munches was that it basically pulled the characters out of like their native environment, so to speak, of being the 2D side scroller.
Yeah.
And it also was the, like, first game where you start off playing someone completely different than Abe. All the other games, you were always Abe, and that's just kind of how he was, but it is a little weird, but considering I started playing Munches as opposed to Abe's Odyssey, it wasn't that weird to me, but I know some people very much did not like it.
Yeah, it was also like a release title, I think, for the Xbox or something,
Yes,
right?
it was an Xbox release title, and I remember because we got the Xbox the year it came out, and that was one of the games my dad got with it.
Yeah. I remember that too because I was playing I think it was either before the Xbox came out or it was right when the Xbox came out. I was playing the demo station of, Munch's Odyssey, and I
Oh, I
remember
miss
playing
the
this
demo stations of all the little games at the store.
I
Those are
know.
great days.
The neck breakers of looking up and breaking your neck when you're, like, trying to play
Yep,
the game. It was
I
fun,
miss
though.
those days.
Yeah, oh, no, there was good. Greasy controller and all. It was, like it was perfect. It was a good time, and I remember my parents would go shopping, and I would literally sit there in the game aisle, and I'd be like, I'll be right here, mom or dad, and you can find me here." They go shopping for an hour or whatever, and I would still be there playing the demo. So it was a good time. And then Munches, I saw that and I was confused by it because I was familiar with not Abe's Odyssey, funny enough. I was familiar with Abe's Exodus, which when you
The
submitted this
sequel.
game, I thought this was Abe's Exodus, and then the intro played, and I was like, I don't think this is the same game.
Nope.
And because the intro to Exodus is like there's like a vending machine and they're drinking like Maduckin, I don't know, cans of soup or something or whatever sodas.
It's called The Brew,
Yeah.
and, what it's made out of is not great.
Yeah, it's really disturbing actually. When I first played it, I was like,
Yeah,
"Ooh, this is
yeah.
kind of."
You have to realize just how I will say the storylines for these games is very dark. Like, it is
Yeah.
very dark despite how the game, like, looks. Like, you are handling with n creatures going extinct sort of thing, and it's pretty dark there.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny because you kind of have this like character. He's like on the front of the case. It's Abe. He's like smiling, and it's called
Also, his
Oddworld.
mouth is stitched shut.
Oh, that's true. It is stitch shut. And
Yep, which is why his mouth doesn't open quite as far as everyone else's.
yep. And the reason they're stitched shut, this makes sense now because I just thought about it, is because if they chant, they can take
They have
mind
power.
control this. Yeah, they could take the control over the Sligs minds, which the Sligs are like the henchmen of Rupture
The
Farms, basically.
Yep.
And so that makes sense why they kind of stitch his mouth shut. And the game was rated T for teen. but I think if it came out today, it would probably be an M-rated game. What do you think?
It depend. I'd say potentially, yeah, considering you're also dealing with the fact that the character could very much get like the bad ending to the game. Spoiler alert: Abe gets murdered.
Oh my
He
gosh.
basically he gets executed.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I was telling Tetra before we started recording was that I was playing the game and I'm like at the probably the last 15% of the game. I got back to RuptureFarms and I was saving a bunch of the Madokans and
And then
she was
I asked
yeah.
how many had you saved?
Yeah, and I
And
said like maybe close to 30 and she was like,
you
"Oh,
need
you need to try to get 50."
you need to save 50 in order to get the good ending which is the true ending where everything gets destroyed. Um
Yeah. And
because you
I'm not really
literally
sure.
get saved by the prayers of all the Madukins you saved.
That makes sense. Yeah, so I don't really know if I'm I don't know if I'm gonna make the 50 or not. I bet it's gonna be like 45
It'll be
or
real
something.
close. It'll be
Yeah.
close.
And so yeah, that's part of the difficulty of the game though, is saving the Madukins because you definitely get into predicaments where it's easier to just pass by because it's an extra like the whole game is a puzzle. Like Tetris is a platformer, but I would
It
almost
is a
consider this
puzzle.
game a puzzle game even more than a platformer. Even though it is a platformer game, that's what it's genred
Yeah.
as. But it's just every scene that you go into is a puzzle. So you basically have to figure out how to navigate the scene, how to get through it without dying, how to get through it with saving the Madukins, how to get through it. It
To the
each scene is
end.
very to the end of the game. It's very and they're not easy. They're not like
No.
scenes where it's like you're gonna if it's your first time playing, you're not gonna you'll figure out some of them your first time, but a lot of them you're gonna die like I don't know 5, 6, 7 times. I died on some of these scenes probably like close to 20 times. I don't know if you when that was your
I
first time
died a
playing
lot.
if yet yeah because
I died a
it's gonna
lot.
kill you if
And
you're yeah go ahead.
here's the worst thing is that at least I know with the original, it's also here's the thing. I actually really like the art style, but it adds to the puzzle because you don't necessarily see if you can go down because
Yeah
there's levels underneath, so it's like a maze throughout the
yeah.
level.
Yeah, they try to do this thing where it's like there's stuff dripping off of the side to let you know to go down, but sometimes it's not super obvious, and sometimes they don't even have it, I don't think.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the game is you're gonna die a lot, and if you're not cool with dying a lot, you're probably not gonna like this game because you just got to get ready. Like if you just, it's like Dark Souls where you're gonna start over and over and over and over again. Um, and so let's kind of go into my first bad point of the game is not the fact that you die a lot, but in the original game, there is no save states to this game. There's none.
No, you only get the checkpoints.
Yeah.
It saves at checkpoints, and that was most people's biggest critique about the game.
Yes. And what I mean by checkpoints is that you could do like I don't know, 10 minutes worth of puzzle solving or more and die and have to go back to the checkpoint and then do it again. Because this game is trial and error. So you're gonna try something, it's not gonna work, you're gonna die. You're gonna try something, it's not gonna work, you're gonna die. You're gonna do that over and over and over. So you're gonna end up going to that same checkpoint like many, many, many times. I would almost recommend not playing it unless you have some way to save state it. I think the new remake does, doesn't it?
I think they did fix that in New and Tasty. Hold on. Let me just look up real quick. Because I think
I want to
New and Tasty fixed a lot of the issues.
Yeah, and I think that was the biggest issue of the original game is the save states. Because man, oh man, I died, and I played the original here. But I did, I had a way to state it, thankfully. If I didn't though, this would have been a
Oh,
like a soul wrenching experience without the save
yeah.
state.
Also, according to the internet, New and Tasty basically doubled how many Madukins. No, tripled how many Madukins you could find.
Whoa.
So
So
So in the remake, they made it so that there's 299 as opposed to 99 in the original, and you have to save at least 150.
Yeah, no thanks. No thanks. That's too many. It's already a lot. They must have
But they
added
did
a
add
lot of.
in, they also fixed, the difficulty setting they added into the game.
I heard they
It's-
added a rewind function.
I do not know. I cannot see that right now. All I see is stuff unlike the original, there is a difficulty setting that changes the game. But if you want the original difficulty, set it to hard.
Okay, so if you want the original difficulty, you have to set it to hard.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because this game is it's hard. I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
it's hard. I went and saw like a playthrough on YouTube, and the dude beat it in like 3.5 hours, but he didn't die one time. He knew like every single spot in the game. He knew exactly what to do. But imagine that and dying 10 times. So you're basically like increasing the game by like an arbitrary 30 hours because you're just dying so much. I thought I was going to beat this game in like 7 hours. It didn't happen.
No. It has a very big learning curve.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
biggest issue right there is that one.
Yeah, I want to say right off the rip, that is the biggest issue with the game is the note that there needed to be more checkpoints. The rewind feature, like 100% necessary. Save state feature of some sort, 100% necessary. Because when they were developing this game, I think they thought it would be just a really fun, challenging platformer for most people to kind of like get past and learn the levels, and it would be like just a great game to do that with. Now retrospectively, I don't know if that was a great idea. I think something along the lines of Donkey Kong Country 2's difficulty, where it's difficult, like you're having a hard time, right? But it's not so much so where you're like where you're gonna just stop playing the game. I could easily see this, like, if you were playing it back in 1997 or whatever
Yep.
when it came out. I could easily see somebody picking it up and being like, I'm not beating this game. Like, I'm not playing it and that actually happened to me with Abe's Exodus a little bit when I was a kid, is that it was too difficult for me. Like I would die over and over.
You
So
you you need to have a calming game to play afterwards to get over the frustration.
you need to have patience and you need to
Yeah.
be calm. And if you don't have both those things, you're gonna really struggle with this game.
No, there
And
are some people who will just finish the game just to say that they did and out of spite.
that's kind of me right now. Like I am that's kind of me right now. I'm like so close to the end. I'm just
You're
gonna
like,
be
"I'm
it
gonna
and be like, yeah.
just do
I
it."
yeah, almost out of spite for the game because it's just like you're not gonna get the best of me. Nope. Um, but yeah, and to add to that challenge, it's not just the puzzles; it's the fact that you have to control Abe, and controlling Abe is not an easy task to do. Abe is a very clunky character. He like I
He's a
he
klutz.
he's
That's
a
actually
klutz. And
that's literally his character is meant to be a klutz. So that's why he's sometimes a little difficult to move around, which I actually kind of get. And I like the fact that they made it so he is kind of big and clunky despite, his size and everything. They make him a bit difficult to move around because that's his personality. That's who he is.
yeah. And so if you're thinking of a platformer like Donkey Kong, you're thinking of a platformer like Mario, you're thinking of Sonic, this isn't the same type of character controls at all. You're like playing a
No.
like a clunky klutz who's slow, who's like just hard to control, and it's so you have to get used to controlling Abe and jumping up on platforms, getting down, crawling, rolling, talking, and you have to get used to doing these things like fast too, because there's times where a split second is going to be the difference between you dying and not.
Wow, this kind of
Um,
sounds like the last game I gave you.
wait, was that Dragon's Lair? Was that?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Dragon Slayer. Okay, Dragon Slayer was short, so it's like you suffer for like an hour and then you're good. It's like okay, I'm done suffering. This one's like you suffer for like I think I've been suffering close to 20 hours with this game. 50, probably 15. Like I've been suffering for quite a long time. I've died a lot. Oh man, I've died a lot. This is like crazy. But yeah. I kind of want to go into one of the good points of the game too is that the humor. I like the humor in the game. And
Yeah.
this is another thing you've had a common theme with the games that you've submitted is that they've all have like really good humor to them. I think.
Which I'm honestly always really thrilled about. I think you'll just
Yeah.
find the next game I gave you kind of cheesy and corny and kind of, but that's my opinion on the next game I gave you.
Oh, okay, did you submit a new one? I didn't even look
Yes, I
yet.
did.
Okay, nice. Yeah, so I love the humor in this game because it's like I don't know. They have the cute little voices and the Abe can like fart and the other character can fart and they laugh. They're like hee hee hee.
And then there's
And they're
also like the first cutscene's where he stumbles across the plot. The second cutscene, he literally falls off a cliff because he was
Yeah.
staring at the moon for too long.
he's like, "Oh, my hand fits in the moon." And like he puts
And
his
then
hand
he's
up
like,
there and
"Oh wait, I'm falling. Oh no."
well, yeah. It's a funny game and the sligs are funny too. They're like got this weird
And
voice.
I will say that does help lighten the sort of tone of the game is the humor.
It does. It helps lighten it and it helps yeah, it's like funny, the slags they'll go blah blah. They'd have this like thing and they laugh at every time you die, they laugh at you, those little bastards.
Yep.
They do this little weird laugh. It's like bah, 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 bah. Like I can't mimic it, but it's a really charming game, I would say. The characters are charming, the humor's charming. Even one point the developers thought they would be hilarious. So there's this point where you walk into a room and you have to chant. There's like these fireflies, and you have to chant to like read what the fireflies are gonna say. So you start chanting, and he's like wham wham wham, and the firefly starts spelling out stuff for you, and it's like the thing that it says it's watch out for that bat, and the second it hits bat, the bat hits you and it kills your character. They thought it was hilarious. I know they thought it was
To be
hilarious.
fair, that is hilarious.
It was funny. I was like, you son of but the developers
And they troll you with it.
they troll you the whole game. There's all
Yeah, I
kinds of
know.
stuff. It's like there's like levers in this game that you'll like pull and your character will fall down and get like on top of like a bad guy immediately and you'll just die. And they're like, the developers were laughing the whole time. They're like, this is gonna be
Yep.
so funny. People are gonna just it. But you could tell that the developers had a good sense of humor with this game, which is super cool. And I think the game, had a very overall the humor was great. It's not like over the top, like or not over the top, but it's not as blatant as like Fable's humor.
Fable,
I think
which I really
it's-
hope they keep Fable's humor for the new one.
I see
really
them.
do.
Yeah, I do too, because I kind of see them going the route of like trying to tone it down for modern
Supposedly
audiences.
they said they're going to. We'll see.
I don't think they
But
should tone it down. I don't think they should.
no.
I think honestly, just lean into it. Because these games. Well, this is the thing with a little side tangent here. This is the thing I think with developing remakes for in the new
Or reboot or
decade
something like that.
is that you're a big part of your audience is going to be the people that originally played it, but you're also trying to attract a new audience. And I think they're worried that the new audience won't get it, like with the old humor. But I think they will. I don't think people are so. And there are people that are going to be super uptight about it, but I don't think people are so uptight where they're going to play this game and they're going to like I can't it's not funny to me or something. I think it's going to be fine. If you're playing a Fable game, I don't think you should play it if you're going to get offended by its humor. In my opinion,
And it's not
little
even that
side
bad of humor. It's just
it's really not. It's really not. It's really mild. It's not. It's like as bad as what Saturday Night Live. It's not really. Yeah, it's not any worse than that. Maybe just a little bit. But so I don't know. But yeah, side tangent over, I guess. But yeah, this game had humor. It was great. The developers trolled you intentionally. They knew what they were doing, and you can just tell. Now,
Yep.
one of my good points was my favorite mechanic was mind controlling the sligs. What about you?
Yeah. I personally thought that was the coolest little thing, especially since I think either I'm trying to remember if it was Abe's Odyssey that was explaining it or like later games, but they explained that like all Mudokons actually have that sort of ability. It's just the ones that were at Rupture Farms were basically raised in captivity, so they didn't know they could.
Oh, I just assumed all their mouths were sewn shut now.
No, for them it was more of that they were taught. They they basically didn't know anything because they were raised in captivity. They didn't know that they basically were raised to be compliant to the Gluckins sort of thing.
Yeah. And to be fair, the Sligs and all the Gluckins did foresee this chanting mind control thing because
Yep.
they have these zappers that will
Yep.
like zap you if you start mind controlling. They'll like, and then they're also very heavily guarded. There's all kinds of things that would keep the Mudokons from escaping and just mind controlling everybody. So you have to mind control in very specific scenarios where you're not going to get zapped by the machines and you're out of the line of sight of the sligs because they'll just shoot you. If they know that you're doing it, they'll just shoot you up.
Yep, you got to be stealthy.
They'll. It's so funny because when you mind control a slig next to another slig, they'll actually shoot that slig.
I know, it's
So
hilarious.
because they don't want to like get shot by the mind controlled slig.
Add to the humor of the of the slang of the
Yeah.
game.
And oh, you know what was a really cool mechanic too was the fact that when you're a slig, you can control the slogs, which are the dogs.
Yep.
That was really cool. He's like, "Here, boy," and then you're like, "Get him!" And like you'll sick this dog on other sligs and stuff. It's really actually a pretty cool mechanic. It's introduced pretty late, I
Hilarious.
would say, but it's a fun thing to do. And talking about introducing things late, I felt like some of these mechanics are introduced late into the game, and you could have used them in the earlier stages. But I think they do that intentionally, so you're not just cheesing your way through the early stages.
And
But
also because like you have to remember Abe's learning about being like all of this with you. Like he at the beginning of the game has no idea that he could potentially do any of this, and
yeah,
so that's kind of so it actually makes sense from both just gameplay and story wise why the mechanics were like held off until later in the game because
yeah,
like Abe's learning all this stuff for the first time.
yeah. Yeah, I find it interesting that that Abe is like kind of actually happy with his job in the beginning. He's not like happy, but he's like just content. He's like, I'm
He's
just a
he's
janitor. It's like,
he's like, I wax the floors. That's
yeah,
literally his job. That's what he's doing in the opening scene.
he's just like do, just waxing the floor, like not
And then
caring,
he's like, why is that door open? Goes over to look and then finds out the entire plot.
Yeah. And what sent him over the edge was his people being eaten for food. He
Yep.
was like, okay, that's enough. Getting beaten and all that stuff is probably like he didn't care too much, but the moment he like knew he was going to get eaten, then he was like, oh, it's done.
Oh yeah. No.
So pretty what would you call it, like enduring guy to be able to put up with all that crap, and then like
Yeah.
that's what that's what it took.
He put up with all of that, and then you also have to realize that his entire worldview, aside from you know finding out that the Mudokons were going to get eaten, his entire worldview shifts as soon as he falls off the cliff and then comes across the shaman guy known as Big Face.
Yeah. Yeah, is Big Face a big part of the series, or is it just that one game?
He, I believe, does pop up in at least I'm pretty sure he's in Abe's Exodus. I don't know if he's in Munches. I don't remember. I haven't played Munches in forever either.
Did you beat all three?
No, I did not beat Exodus. I beat Abe's Odyssey out of spite, and I
Yeah.
got most of the way through Munches.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And then
Okay,
there's Stranger's Wrath, which is the fourth one.
so you're on the same page with me, beating the game out of spite.
Yep.
That's funny.
I'm like,
Um,
I am determined at this point.
right. Yeah, one thing I think we forgot to mention about the graphics, and I'm sorry to kind of jump points here, is that it, it the backgrounds are pre-rendered. Did we mention that?
No, I didn't think we did.
Yeah, they're pre-rendered backgrounds, so it's just like a still pictured images of backgrounds, kind of like the. Oh, here he goes. kind of like the Final Fantasy VII.
There's your Final Fantasy reference.
There it is. The reference came up with the pre-rendered background. So, and then yeah, I just want to. I wanted to mention that's funny. I got it in.
There's your reference right there.
Yeah. So, yeah, apparently, this is an interesting fact. Lorne Lanning stated that the game was designed to make players feel vulnerable. So that makes a lot of sense. Lorne Lanning was one of the directors for the game, I believe, and so they wanted players to feel vulnerable. I felt very vulnerable. I think they achieved exactly what they wanted.
Oh yeah, no, they did very good at feeling because it's like you are very you're weak. Like if you are physically in a fight, you are going to lose very easily.
Yeah, your character is pretty much as weak as they could be. Aside from the fact that they can roll really fast and they can mind control when it's convenient, and that's about it. You're not a fighting character, not even
Nope.
like close. You are an escapee, and they're around people with guns and bombs and dogs and all kinds of different stuff, and paramites and scarabs or whatever they're called. What are scrub? I don't know, scarabs. It was funny during that temple sequence. I thought I was only going to have to do one of them. I didn't realize I was going to have to do both of them. So when I got done with the Scarab Mania or whatever, and then I realized I had to do the Paramites, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yep, you got to go through both.
Which one do you like? Did you feel like was easier for you or better?
I honestly actually don't have a preference on them. They were both just a pain because the game just in general.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think the Paramites were a little bit easier for me because they're not super aggressive and they give you a little bit more time to think about like what you're gonna do. The scarabs or whatever they're called, they're just instantly they're like bulls, they'll instantly ram you and stab you with their giant mouth or whatever it is.
Yep.
So
And honestly,
I
though,
think
and that would, I believe, be the Scrabs, is what you're thinking of. The Scrabs, because there's
Scrabs.
the Paramites and the Scrabs.
I keep on calling them
And,
scarabs, yeah.
well, they're kind of in a deserty wasteland part of Oddworld. You know what's sad to think about with Oddworld?
What?
The developers straight up told us that we have seen, like, hardly anything of Oddworld the size of the planet. Compared to what we have seen in the games. We've seen a very, very small fraction of Oddworld.
I can see that.
Because I believe they said that the surface area, so how much like land there is like 5 to 10 times more than Earth.
That makes sense. That honestly
So
makes
it's huge.
Yeah, and within Abe's Oddysee, you're only in what, like 4 or 5 different areas, maybe 5 different. I don't know, not too many. You're like
Yeah,
RuptureFarms.
and
Go
it's
ahead.
like you're only starting on one continent, one of the continents, and it's only a small fraction of the continent. Like they planned out this huge world for you to explore that could potentially be explored in future games, which is why I say we should get another Oddworld game. Because with the way Oddworld's design and what we know about the world, you could literally do anything if a new
Yeah.
development team picked it up. And it sucks because we actually were originally supposed to get 5 Oddworld games.
That's a lot. Well, a lot. Wait, that's like 2 more than we have now, so that would have been pretty cool.
No. So we were originally supposed to get 5 Oddworld games. Not counting the remakes, we got 4.
Oh. Wait, no, I
Because
mean the
Abe's Odyssey,
yeah.
Abe's Exodus, Munch's Odyssey, and Stranger's Wrath.
Oh, Stranger's Wrath. I forgot. I keep forgetting about that one. It's the
Yeah, because
newest one.
that was the Western one, which took out the platforming aspect of the game.
Really?
Yeah, it was like an action adventure game.
Oh, that's so weird. Maybe they thought that it wouldn't do well if it was like the originals or something, or they just want to
And
do something new.
I don't know, maybe.
I mean, they kind of did something new with Munches, so I guess they did something new with this one, and I don't. Maybe that was it. Um, did you ever try to save every Madokin?
But I tried, I failed, I gave up. I just
Yeah.
went for the end of the game out of spite.
Did you get
That's
above
usually
50?
I think I actually got exactly 50 by sheer dumb luck.
Oh wow. So it worked out.
Barely.
That's good. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I don't if I get under 50 this playthrough, I don't think I'm gonna go
Just
back and do it again.
go watch on YouTube the good ending.
Yeah. I think because like in my mind, it's like I beat this game and I still have Abe's Exodus to beat, so I'm not going to like re-torture myself like with this game. Not that okay, when I say I torture myself, I'm not saying I didn't have any fun. I did have fun with the game, but it is also torture at the same time. Like
Yeah,
you are getting both. You are being tortured, you're laughing at the pure stupidity of how you died, and then you're going to either put the game down or you're going to try again. And there's a couple times where I died like 10, 15 times. Probably I'm sure there were certain scenes I died probably over 20 times. And so
yeah,
there's
but you're laughing the entire time you die.
I just shook my head every time. I was like, there's no way. I was like, there's no I'm like, and there were some
Oh,
scenes I was like, how do I get through this? I didn't know like what I felt like I literally through sheer dumb luck got through some of the scenes. I'm like, I don't know how that
probably.
worked out, but I did. Um, did you have a most frustrating section?
Um, I mean, to me, the most frustrating section will always be like the end of the game where you're trying to get like the last little few Medekins to at least push you over. Because by the time I got around to playing the game, like it was well known you needed to save 50 in the original game. You had to save 50 in order to do it. And so I'm like literally limping along at the end of the game, and I'm like, where's the last ones? There's got to be more in here somewhere. And the fact that there's like 99 scattered throughout the entire game, because Abe technically is the 100th.
Yeah. Huh. You know what I just noticed is that I was reading because the original game was made by Oddworld Inhabitants Inc. Did they form into Just Water? Because Just Water is the new developer for was it New and Tasty?
Yeah.
Just Add Water.
Oh,
No.
let's see.
Oh, publisher
Oddworld
Oddworld.
Inhabitants Inc. is an American game developer that supposedly is still around.
They became the publisher, and the developer ended up being Just Add Water for the new
Oh,
game
they partnered
for
up
New
with
and Tasty.
Just Add Water, like they work together.
Ah. Okay. I wonder if they make any other games. Do you know if these guys make any other games? Because their name is
Hold
literally
on.
Oddworld
Let's see.
Inhabitants.
Let's see. Oddworld, and then they helped with. Let's see.
From what I could tell, it's literally just only
Oddworld
Oddworld.
did the Oddworld Inhabitants did the remake for Exodus, so they did Soulstorm.
Okay.
You know what sucks is, dude, their list of unreleased games, mainly the ones that are labeled Oddworld.
It's large.
Oh yeah. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. One of them would have been titled Oddworld: Hand of Odd, which would have been an
Okay.
open world real time strategy game online.
Wow.
Slig Storm, where you were
Okay.
playing an albino Slig.
Interesting.
Squeak's Oddysee, which would have been the third game in the original quintology.
Okay.
And then Munch's Exodus was supposed to be like a bonus game. And
Interesting.
then let's see. Oh wait. So technically Abe's Exodus wasn't part of the original like game set that they were gonna do. So it looks
Okay.
like Squeak. Oh, they probably were just gonna name them Oddysee for each of them. So like Squeak's Oddysee was supposed to be part of the original 5 games that they were wanting to do.
Yeah.
Let's
It
see,
looks like they also did some Game Boy games.
yeah. Let's see,
Oddworld
Slave
Adventures.
Circus.
Okay.
Oddworld Slave Circus. Let's see. Stranger's Wrath 2 was supposed to get a sequel. And then a competitive multiplayer game called Stranger Arena.
Interesting. So they had a whole lineup of stuff they were going to do, they just didn't do.
Yeah.
Have
Sad.
you played the Game Boy games?
No, but I did know that that I think actually the one you mentioned, let's see, which was what, like Oddworld Adventure. I think that actually
Yeah.
is technically the Game Boy version of Abe's Oddysee.
Okay. Stranger's Wrath is not that new. I thought that was a newer game, but it's before Munches. No, it's
No, it's
after Munches.
after.
Yeah. Sorry, I was reading Munches Odyssey HD. They came out with an HD version of the game.
Oh yeah,
of
no,
Munches.
Munch's Odyssey is on Nintendo Switch now. But a lot of people hate the fact that when they ported it, they did not do any of the quality of life fixes.
Oh,
When they
really?
ported Munches to the newer stuff,
It just
they did
feels like the
not.
same.
Well, they left like the bugs and stuff like that in.
Oh, so it was like almost like a 1-for-1 port or what?
Yeah, that's literally what it is.
Oh, okay. Kind of lazy porting, Quick Bunny or something.
Yep.
I don't know. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought Stranger's Wrath was like a newer game, but it's 2005. Literally, it could be on this
That is
podcast considered a retro game.
21 years
So,
ago.
yeah, that is more than 15, I'll tell you that.
At this rate,
Um,
you could literally just go through the original Oddworld games if you wanted to on the podcast.
yeah, I could.
Start with this one, go to Exodus, then to Munch's Odyssey, and then to Stranger's Wrath.
Yeah, I could. I after this after Abe's Odyssey, I'm gonna be taking a break. I've been
I will say, if I remember correctly, at least Munches is easier because it's like a 3D environment. I think is the idea is that's slightly easier. At least Abe's Exodus is essentially Abe's Odyssey sort of thing. Still, if I
yeah,
remember
it's
correctly.
it. If I remember correctly, it's pretty similar game.
Yeah, just different story, and we like the different story.
Yeah. And so, yeah, we've kind of touched on the graphics of the game. We've kind of touched on the themes of the game, and what we thought it might be rated. And the reason I earlier when I was talking about rating the game and for today's audiences is not just because of the ending is really dark, but when you are going through this game, your character explodes into pieces. When you mind control the sligs, you also they explode into little tiny bits. Like
Yep.
they're little like you see the flesh. Like it's not just like they explode. It's like you see their flesh exploding. And so it's not like it's a dark game, it's not like a game for kids, I would say. Especially like I would say mentally. Like it's very punishing. It's not a game that most kids will jump in and be like, this is really fun. They're gonna probably jump in, die, and be like, what do I do? So yeah, it's very grim, dark game. But if you like that kind of theme, I think you'll probably be drawn to this. So yeah. And let's see. Do you know any games that are like this game? Like I feel like I wanted to compare it to something, but I don't know anything off the top of my head.
That's the thing is I actually can't think of any that immediately spring to mind because it is kind of such a wacky sort of, world, sort of way the platformer and puzzles are like intertwined, and it's a bit unique, kind of odd, like in the name Oddworld.
Yes. You know what it reminds me of actually, and it's actually an older game. It's not newer than Oddworld. It's you ever heard of Another World?
I think vaguely I heard about it once, like forever ago.
So which is weird because it's called Another World. So I'm wondering like if Oddworld got the inspiration from this game or something, but it's very similar where you're like a person and it's a very punishing platformer. Like everything kills you and you have to like redo scenes over and over and over. And you're trying to rescue people like the Meducans. They're like these ape people. And that's basically the game. It's like the same thing. So that's so funny that they must have gotten inspiration from. I wish I knew, but I feel like they must have gotten inspiration from Another World. It's a SNES game. I don't know. Maybe somebody can go look it up if the game title. But it's very interesting. It's a very difficult game. It's very fun, but it's very serious and dark, just like this game. They must have. I wish I knew. But anyways, so yeah, that's the only game that I can think of that's like it's similar to. It's not similar to any other platformers that I know of. There are other puzzle games that are punishing, but it's, honestly, I can't think of them off the top of my head just for the sake of comparison. So it's a pretty unique game, I would say. It's very unique, and you're not gonna find this experience in many other places, and that's probably for a reason. I want to say that this game probably caters to a specific audience. What do you think?
Yeah, I can see that, and sometimes it's not very obvious what that audience is, but because
Yeah,
it's weird.
maybe if you're into like platforming Dark Souls or something like if you're into like very strong challenges that make you think and make you you have to have some sort of endurance and patience for the game. You can't, yeah. So I think it's a niche audience, but I think those who do like Abe's Oddysee really like the game a lot. And there's that audience for it because there obviously is because they created multiple sequels and multiple spin-offs. So people do like these games. I don't think it's like I don't know how as far as like one of the best-selling games on the platform, the original PlayStation, I don't maybe top 50 or something. What do you think?
Uh, Sorry, what was the question? I was looking at something real quick.
No, that's okay. Like how well do you think this game sold back in the day?
um, I'm not entirely sure, though. I do have the number from 2012 saying how many have been sold worldwide.
Sure.
Oh, wow. Okay. In December 2012, the game had sold 3.5 million copies worldwide, thus making it one of the best-selling PlayStation video games of all time for the original PlayStation.
Wow, okay. One of the best. I wonder what if we were looked I should have pulled up a list. But yeah, apparently in 98 it sold over 1 million units. And so um that but it was more popular in Europe than it was the USA.
That wouldn't surprise me.
So that makes sense to me because I feel like when I was younger and talking to people
Oh,
about this game there wasn't. Oh, go ahead.
I got the answer
What
roughly
is it?
of where they put it. Where it got put on this list puts it at like number 20.
That's pretty
For
good. I thought top 50, but top 20 is
yeah.
damn good. What interesting. What are some titles that beat it? I mean, obvious Final Fantasy 7.
Final 7, yeah. Final Fantasy 8, Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone.
Oh, geez.
Crash Bandicoot 2 and Warped, and then Tomb Raider, Metal Gear Solid,
Okay.
Resident Evil.
Yep.
Oh,
The big
there's
hits.
another Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
Spyro,
oh yeah, Spyro. Yep, definitely.
the original Spyro the Dragon.
Yeah. Okay. Those all are very, very big hits. Those don't surprise me that they beat Abe's Oddysee, but top 20 PlayStation games. I mean, you cannot smirk at that. That's a fantastic number. Good on them. I said niche audience. Maybe it's not as niche as I thought. But I don't know. I feel like today's modern audience, it would be niche. Maybe less niche back then. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to put it in that niche cat. I'm really trying hard to shove it in that niche category, but
Yeah, no, because I'm looking at a few different lists, because I want to see where, like, who places it what. According to this one, which does have them fully in like how many units sold, it tied with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Resident Evil 3
What?
is the other one it tied with.
That's crazy.
Yep.
That's actually crazy. Resident Evil 3 is super popular, and Tony Hawk Pro Skater is insanely popular. So that's wild. That I felt like Tony Hawk was not niche. I felt like everybody had played that game. So interesting. Maybe yeah, and so it must have been Europe that it was just huge.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because those numbers are for like worldwide.
That makes sense. Yeah, so the game, I don't know if it's your first time playing, it's probably going to take you about 20 hours to beat. 15 to 20 hours, not rescuing all the Madokans. And yeah, I don't have a. It's not like an in-depth game where it's like I could really dig into the plot of this game. It's pretty on the surface. Like it's like you're Abe. Your people are being eaten. You escape. You go to a temple, get some powers. You go back. You rescue your people. That's kind of the game. And you dodge bad guys and bombs and all kinds of different stuff on the way there. And there's not, there's not a lot to really dive into there. I don't know. Is there anything else you kind of wanted to talk about as far as?
I was gonna mention a few of the different names that the game went through development. One of them is actually very interesting. So, let's see. The one title that it had before it got beat Oddworld, Abe's Oddysee, was Oddworld Inhabitants Epic 1 starring Abe.
Okay, interesting.
And the other one, which was the original working title when it began production, was Soulstorm. Which, if you pay attention, is what the Abe's Exodus remake became called.
Interesting. Yeah, okay.
And that was the last Oddworld game.
Yeah,
was Oddworld Soulstorm. I thought that was a little interesting bit of trivia there.
Yeah, that is interesting. Yeah, so they brought back the Soulstorm for the remake of Exodus.
Exodus. Yep.
And yeah, and the budget, they said the budget for the game was $4 million, and GT Interactive dedicated $10 million to its marketing budget. Well, that's a lot. That's a lot for back then, I think. $4 million and $10 million.
This was like 97, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what normal game budgets were, but that was pretty significant.
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
especially
that's pretty
since
high.
I think this was their first or like second game. Questions. This was their first game. Was Oddworld: Abe's Oddysee.
Whoa!
Those were the first game that the company put out.
How did they secure such a crazy budget?
So let's see. Let's see what the internet's telling me. Let's see. Let's see. Let's talk about the names. Let's see. The first footage the creator of the game saw was actually a pack of Meeches chasing Abe, which is interesting considering Meeches are extinct. They got removed from the game by the time the game came out.
Interesting.
They changed it so that they removed them from the final games. Another sequence under time and budget constraints concerned the moon that Abe witnesses after his escape. Let's see. Oh, apparently there was supposed to be like a meteor shower involved in that.
Yeah. Huh.
And also, GT Interactive dedicated $10 million to its marketing budget, the largest for the publisher to date. Apparently.
Wow. I was looking at some of the changes for the art that they did for releasing it. The Maducken Pops in the US, I think, had the head of the Maduckans on a spike.
It was creepy.
And that's the Maducken Pop. Literally, you're just eating the head of the Maducken like as a popsicle. Yep. But in the Japanese version, it looks like they had they changed it to like just a popsicle with eyeballs. So it's like way less creepy. Usually it's funny because I feel like most of the time it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Don't you?
Yeah. Also, I did just now find the story of how they got that much funding.
Oh, how?
From the production for when Abe's Odyssey was in production, the developers found that an executive at GT Interactive tried to sabotage production because he did not like the game. He took
What?
footage of the game to his boss, who loved the direction the game had, and chose to provide more funding at the expense of the executive.
What? I mean, that's justice, I feel like, right there.
That's great. But also, you were saying how its humor kind of reminded you slightly of Fable. That doesn't surprise me, considering Fable, when it was coming out, had to be like, even when they went to do like the reboot, the main thing for the new one was that it had to be from a development company based in the UK because of the humor that was very much kind of from that part of the world.
Yeah.
Which
Oh.
Abe's Odyssey was developed by a UK group.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's probably
Interesting.
why their humor kinda sometimes at times seemed fairly similar.
Okay. That is interesting. Yeah, I was wondering how they secured so much money because that's not for a first game, that's a lot. That's a lot of money for a first
Eh
game. Um,
and just the idea that, it's because some guy didn't like the game and tried to sabotage it, took it to the head honcho. Head honcho loved it.
that's so funny. There that kinda reminds me, not to get into too much, what do you call it, modern video game drama, streamer drama, but there's this streamer called Pirate Software. You ever heard of him?
I have heard of him.
Yeah. So basically, he was against the Stop Killing Games initiative, which is basically
Oh, wait, I've
initiative.
heard about this. I've
Yeah,
heard this
I'll
whole
try to
thing.
make it. I'll try to make it real short because it's a little bit outside of the realm. But basically, he was against the Stop Killing Games initiative, which is an initiative that's supposed to preserve games that that developers no longer want to support. And so when he was against it, ironically, the movement was dying and it was pretty much dead. And then he made this video about like, yeah, it's a really stupid movement, like blah 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 blah. And ironically, he ended up funding the movement by doing that because everyone was like, "Wait a minute!" like, they all went against him because they found out about it through him and went against him about it, and they got all the signatures that they needed. Ironically, so
That Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Also, I found the images that you were talking about the difference between the EU versions of the poster. The US version has the head of the Maducken literally impaled on a spike.
yes.
And the EU version looks like an actual popsicle, but it looks like it has their eyeballs.
Yeah. Yeah, like, it's like a little cute popsicle, but when I was reading, like, why they did that, I was like, "Why would they do that?" Because usually it's the other way around.
Yeah.
Apparently, it's due to this thing called the Kobe child murders in Japan, and, they occurred, on March 16th, and May 24th of '97 when two children, 10-year-old Ayaka, Yamashita, and 11-year-old June Hase were murdered, and, I don't know, were they, like so they were murdered, but were they impaled or something? Is that, like, what happened to
Mm,
these kids, and that's why? Because they said that's why they didn't wanna do it because they felt like it was, like, insensitive. So um yeah, I
yeah.
don't know. It's interesting that these were the murders. It was so dark. I mean, like it's I didn't think that would be the reason, but yeah, I wonder what
Let's see.
happened.
They actually changed quite a few different designs
Yeah.
partially because of Japan. One of them was changing the Meduckins to have 3 fingers instead of 4.
Okay.
Because according to this, that let's see, a group was offended by the Meduckins having 4 fingers and most of them working in a meatpacking factory due to a historic Japanese subclass of meat packers who were looked down upon in society, and 4 fingers or showing 4 fingers to another person came to insinuate the other was a member of the subclass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wait. Whoa, interesting. And,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and more information on the Kobe child murders. Yeah. So one of the things was that Hase was abducted. And this is gonna get dark. If anybody wants to skip this part, feel free. I know this isn't like a retro, but this is kind of related to the game and why they chose the art style.
And why they like some things had to be changed for
Yeah.
international audiences.
Yeah. So, yeah, you can skip like a minute or 2 minutes ahead. But
And
Hase was abducted, strangled, mutilated before his severed head was left in front of a school.
Ew.
So that's why they changed. And it makes honestly, I probably would have done the same thing. Like
Yeah.
if this just happened and this was my game and I had like art of a severed head on a pole, I would have been like, you know what? We're not just make it a popsicle with eyeballs. Like that's horrible. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So yeah, that it's funny because it was a product of the time. They would have probably kept the heads in and everything if this event hadn't happened in Japan.
It literally so the game came out September. The murders happened of like March and May of that year.
Yeah. So you're talking about, same year, maybe like what, 7 months or something.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, crazy stuff. But yeah. So yeah, this game has some story behind it, between the funding and the art and just different stuff going on.
And why certain things got changed for international releases and stuff like that.
Yeah. And it was mostly received to be positive upon release. Most people liked it, obviously, because it sold so well. You know, it and yeah, I don't know, but what do you think? Do you think today most people would like if you were, and this might be going kind of towards like should you reload it or
I
not? But
think it actually would definitely find its audience because especially with games like Elden Ring and Dark Souls, people actually like the games where they torture you when you play it.
right.
Like
Yeah, I think
people actively would go out of the way to find it.
I think people like games that torture you to play it as long as it's fair torture. Like if it's like something that you can overcome. And I think this is stuff you can overcome.
Yes.
Especially if you are talking about the new and tasty. I think that's with if it has rewind with the save states and all that stuff. Like I think that is the way to go, and I think that's a great way to bring new audiences in with new and tasty. Very smart.
And if I remember correctly, they did add a few things when they did the remakes. Like I know they added like 2 new things to when they redid Exodus. So for Soulstorm, I know they added a
Yeah.
few like actual like monster characters and stuff like that. So
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Did you like riding the Elam by chance? The little like camel thing?
I thought it was okay.
Yeah, it was okay. It was fun at first, and then like dragging him around got annoying. I was like, oh man, I got to bring this thing everywhere.
There's one other thing about the development of this game.
What?
That the original idea was that it was actually gonna be Abe and Elam breaking in, like, already being, like, outside native Mudokons, not raised in captivity Mudokon, and basically getting thrown into the, factory setting, but then they decided to flip it around and do the opposite.
That makes sense.
And
I mean,
I think it works way better doing it the opposite where it's like, now his eyes are opening up to the world outside.
I think so too, because like you said, you're kind of learning with Abe, which is like makes sense. You're like learning through what Abe is capable of through the story and stuff. And so I like the way that they did it rather than like being this like Elam and Abe. Imagine having to bring Elam the whole time. Sheesh.
Yeah.
That would have been something. I mean, it was cool through certain parts, but I wouldn't want it the whole time. Yeah. I don't know if I have anything else. Did you want to say anything else about the development or anything?
Nope, that was the last thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's get into kind of rating the game. And so like what would you out of 99 Mudokons, what would you rate this game?
Out of 99 Mudokon,
Yeah.
I'd probably put him like a 70 or 80 Medeckins. I personally enjoy the game.
70 or 80?
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically a 7 or an 8 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's not a bad score. I'm gonna oh man. So I should rate it. I think I'm gonna rate it retrospectively. Kind of like with Dragon Age, where these games have remakes or ports that I think service the game better than the
Yes,
originals. So
definitely.
if you're going to play this game, I'll go with the original PS1 hardware first. Okay. If you're gonna play this on the original PS1 hardware, like you're like, oh, I have a PlayStation and I just went and bought Abe's Oddysee. Okay. Well, good luck, first of all. Have fun. You are going to struggle, but that's okay. Maybe if you can overcome it, great. I'm gonna give it like probably a 5. But if you are playing on new hardware, you're doing the new and tasty port, or you're doing immolation or whatever else, and you have the ability to rewind, save state, do all the stuff that this game needs because of how incredibly unforgiving it is, then it's going to go up to about a 7. And I think it's charming. I think graphically it has its uniqueness. I think the dark theme is perfect for the game. I think the controls lack a little bit. I think that's part of the difficulty is the controls. It's intentional, but it can be kind of hard to get used to. I think if the controls were a little better, I'd probably give it like closer to an 8. But yeah, I think 7 out of 10. It's fun. It's worth giving a try. Should you go reload the game? I'm gonna say yes on the point that you don't play the PS1 original, that you do it either with the remake or the through immolation. And what about you? Should they
Uh,
reload?
I think so, as long as you, as mentioned. I personally think the original has some charms, like for instance, less Medeckins you have to find, because
Yeah.
that's the one downside to the remake is they did add like triple the amount of people that you could
Yeah.
find.
Yeah.
Um, but I do think it's still worth playing to this day.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Definitely. So yeah, there you have it. Even with the original hardware, Tetra believes that it should be reloaded. I say with the original hardware, no. With the new stuff, retrospectively, yes. With emulation, yes. Reloaded the game. And yeah. So thanks again once again for torturing me again, Buck Tetra, with your game. I kind of want
Um,
to go into. Oh, go ahead.
the next game I chose for you won't be. I promise. At least I hope it's not.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna look at it. It's gonna be like Dark Souls or something. I'm gonna
It's
just
not Dark Souls.
okay.
I've never even
So
actually played Dark Souls.
I played like maybe for like 3 hours once the first one, and it
I
was
gave up.
fun. But yeah, it's one of those games. It's like, oh, you better be ready to die as well, like a lot. So, um, so the riddle for next week's game is going to be: in the halls where moonlight softly gleams, a cursed bloodline haunts my dreams. Not whip nor wall shall bar my way. I roam the night till break of day. A castle lives, it shifts, it breathes. Tell me, hero, who am I?
Um, I have a guess what series.
Oh, I feel like the series was given away with like
Oh,
one word.
well, no, the like Dark Knight, and then like the whips and chains. I'm like, that's very obvious.
Yeah, I think it was the whip that gave it away. I was like,
Yeah.
maybe I should. Yeah. So, what series do you think?
I'm saying Castlevania.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Do you know any of the games?
I don't know any of the games.
Okay. Yeah. So this one was just for the audience. It's a Castlevania game. It was released on the PlayStation in the late '90s. So
Another
that does narrow
PlayStation
it.
game.
Another PlayStation game that narrows it down quite a bit. And yeah, so the game is going to be Castlevania Symphony of the Night. which is a insanely popular game. I did not realize how popular this was when I was reaching out to people on Reddit and different stuff. People love this
Oh
game.
yeah, no,
It is
everyone
like,
loves Castlevania.
yeah, I
Just
never
the
got into
series
the
in general.
series. I never got
I've
into it. So go
I
ahead.
never really played it either, but I know I know about it partially because so many people love it.
You know what people always say to me? Well, it's the second part of Metrovania. That is the line that people. Okay, guys, I get it. It's the second part of Metrovania. I know. It's like you got Castlevania and then you got Metroid, right? It's like it's the second part of Metrovania. People always say that to me.
Yep.
But yeah, and there is a genre for a reason because these games are so popular. There's something to them. There has to be, and this is one of the more popular titles, I would say. So I'm very excited. I wanted to give you an opportunity to plug your socials if you are doing streaming or any of that.
I haven't been streaming lately, partially because, and I thank people for putting up with the occasional cough and the fact that my voice sounds a little off. I've been getting over a cold for the past week and a half. I also was busy working on my cosplay costume for Comic-Con, so I haven't really gotten around to streaming recently. I was going to, and then I got sick, and that didn't work out.
Yeah, it was Distracted Daffy Gamer.
The gamer on Twitch, and I last time I streamed, I played through the first Five Nights at Freddy's game because I promised my little brother I would, because he like, if you want me to try to play it, you should play it first. Me, okay.
Well, how was it?
I honest, I did a few little game exploits that I knew about because I actually have played because I've played the game. Never actually really played through the full game, first one, but I know so much about it that I'm like, I know how to beat this.
Okay, so there's like YouTube exploits that you saw or something.
Well, ish. More of how to, because the first game is notorious for the fact that, for the most part, you don't actually have to look at the cameras. That's just something that's notorious for the first game, and they kind of fixed
Okay.
that for all the other ones. But it's interesting. It was definitely
Okay.
interesting considering the game
I've
came out a decade ago.
I've never played Five Nights at Freddy's. I know they made a movie; it's super popular, and I never played it. So,
And it's
what's
the
your cosplay
subject of
going to
it.
be?
So my cosplay that I just basically finished is I'm gonna be Fire from DC Comics. And my sister's gonna be dressed up as Ice. They're a pair of characters. So it's gonna be interesting and whatnot to wander around Comic-Con.
That
And
that's pretty
and
cool. Fire and ice, huh?
yeah. And I made a little fireball that lights up because I needed green flames. Um, and all the props I could find online were red or blue.
Oh well, that's you got to get creative with the comic, cosplay stuff. It's
Yep, so I
not an
found a
easy
tutorial for
thing.
making a fireball, and then I adapted the electronic portions in it to that I then made and to be green instead.
That's so sick. Me and my wife are actually going to do our first comic. No, well, we did SAC Anime. It was our first time we went to a convention not too long ago, and we're actually going to go do it again. But we're going to dress up this time. I'm going to do. I know you can guess who I'm probably going to be, but I'm going to do Cloud Strife.
I was about to
For
say you're gonna be Cloud, aren't you?
yeah.
I
How
know
could you
nothing about
know?
I know nothing about Final Fantasy, and I could guess that.
Right. And she was going to be Tifa, so I'm excited to go do that. But yeah, no, go check out Tetra's Twitch, guys. She's a regular guest on the show, and she submits a lot of cool games. She has just been very, very supportive, but she also if you guys like to hear me get tortured, Tetra's there for that as well. But yeah, awesome. Thank you for coming on again.
Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Well, folks, that's game over for this episode of Retro Reloaded. Thanks for joining me on this retro adventure. If you loved today's trip down memory lane, then consider helping me keep the nostalgia alive by supporting me on Patreon at patreon.com/retro-reloaded. You'll get early episodes, bonus content, and a chance to pick the next game that we reload. Feel free to let me know your thoughts about the podcast, and until next time, keep those controllers charged.